You know, this is the way most people see the world, from the car, or sometimes from a trail. But usually people are just moving too fast. You gotta slow down and really look deep to find the treasures. And sometimes you drive through neighborhoods like this and you really have to pay attention, if for no other reason, the beauty and what's going on around you. The fall colors are just truly remarkable right now. But you have to look beyond just what's in front of you. You have to see the deep little recesses and the deep little areas where things are happening. And in this case, I'm always looking for that little spot of white or that little spot of yellow or that little spot of color that tells me something's going on. And if you're on the hunt for an elusive mushroom, you have to know the environment that that particular mushroom likes. Oh, they're there. They're there. This whole area is prime for chanterelles, but they're so elusive. You might see that little tiny glint of yellow tucked up underneath a leaf that's just popping up out of the ground. I found some in here last year. I think I might be a little bit early, but they might be there popping underneath it and I just don't see them. But the whole area, this is prime for chanterelle mushrooms. You know, about a week after the first rains of the season is a great time to go out exploring. Take your kids or your grandkids, and if you tell them you're going for a hunt, they really like the idea of hunting for anything. But if you tell them you're hunting for mushrooms and show them what to look for, it's amazing how those eyes that are closer to the ground will spot things. And you will be fascinated just by what the kids discover. And usually it's the little teeny tiny ones that you just don't see. Some of them are just absolutely gorgeous. And it's also about taking the unbeaten path, the areas where people don't usually go hiking or walking. You know, you go through creeks, you'll find prints in the sand. All the little discoveries that you make when you're out with your kids are so much more fun because you're seeing this whole new adventure through the eyes of somebody that's brand new to the world. And their discoveries are first time. You know, the young kids, they see things for the first time and their eyes just light up. Oh, look at that. I can see a mushroom up there on that tree that caused that tree to fall down. Let's see if I can zoom in on it. You see that big one growing off the stump right there? That is a Ganoderma, and the great big one, likely Ganoderma applanatum. But look at the size of that fan. That's about 24 inches across. Now this piece of oak here is being completely consumed. It's a white rot fungus and it's really soft and spongy. And this tree, oh, look at those mushrooms down there. What are those? Look at those. I'm not sure what those are. Let's see if we can see one. Wow, those are gorgeous. You know, they look an awful lot like oyster mushrooms, but I'm not sure. I'm going to look at them closely. I'm going to smell them. But I'm not going to eat them because if I don't know, that's the key. If you don't know, you don't eat it. You only eat what you're absolutely certain of. Oh, here we go. This is not an edible mushroom, but boy, is that pretty. Did you look at that? Oh man, that's beautiful. Just the colors, the brilliance of that all. You know, there's lots of places that you can get away with looking for mushrooms, and you can legally take what you find. If you go on private property, you should ask, but sometimes you just sort of stumble upon something. But you have to go to the environments where you're going to find these possible bits of delicious wonder. And there's a lot of public pathways that you can go on in parks and areas that people just don't really pay attention. Most people just kind of ride by as quickly as they can, and they don't really see all the little things. Like, what's that over there? Look at that little white bit popping up right there. Is that a mushroom? Well, you don't explore, you don't know, you don't find. That is interesting. I'm not sure what it is. Don't have very good luck around pines, but oaks and bays and a lot of hardwoods, you do. Sometimes you just have to really scan and stuff will just pop out at you, especially when you see big dead snags.
And those are turkey tails.
Oh, wait a minute. Those are not turkey tails. If they were turkey tails, they'd be white on the underside. Those are polypores. They look like turkey tails. There's a mushroom called a false turkey tail. Once again, if you're not sure, let it be. But it's fascinating anyway. You know, a lot of these properties are private property, and I have to ask permission before I go on them. But I know so many clients that say, sure, no worries. This is kind of interesting. Looks like at one point in time, somebody built a small dam across here and made their own little swimming hole, which would have been nice. You don't see too many people doing that sort of stuff anymore. It's probably not legal. Let's see, what do we find? Would you look at this tree? This is just, wow, this is magnificent. This is a native sycamore of unprecedented height and value as a native tree for this area. The foliage looks really good. Look at the size of this. You know, you don't even notice these things until you get up close to them, but what a magnificent tree. This thing is about, gosh, I want to say from here to here, that's about 8 feet across at the base and well over 100 feet tall. I don't want to find any mushrooms on this tree. You know, when you're out hunting, even if it's just hunting for mushrooms, you're looking for all sorts of signs and all sorts of indicators of whatever it is that you're hunting for. In this case, I'm hunting for different species of delicious edible mushrooms, and I'm striking out right now. It's perfect time of the year for it. It rained last week, and I'm just going to keep my eyes open. If you don't look, you don't find.
But these are interesting. These are hypoxylon, which are the last stages of decomposers. There's a lot of different types of mushrooms, and some of them are very aggressive, and in no time this log will be turned back into good quality soil. No time meaning about 10 years. So there's something that was growing here. Those look like turkey tails. There's some old ones in there. Those are no good. And the hunt is on. Well, this is interesting. There's yet another fungus that I do not know what it is, but it's certainly interesting. Yet another decomposing fungus that is
causing the wood to go back into the ground, turn back into good soil. If nothing else, I'm enjoying myself. If you don't look, you don't find. All right, I'm still on the hunt. There's a lot of big dead trees down here. And last year, I found a real prize down in the creek here. There's a big old, look at this big old dying cottonwood. There's one right here. This is a prime area. Let's see if we can find anything at all. No, nothing here. I'm going to take a run down by the creek and see if we can find anything down there. This is a prime area. Lots of fallen wood, lots of dying trees. What do we got here? That's not good. All right. Last year, it was on this log that I found a magnificent, just incredible lion's mane mushroom, which is one of the really rare ones. And it looks like it's completely consumed its food source. That's the thing about mushrooms. They get into the wood, they consume the wood, and in no time, they're gone. Got kind of a funny story here. Years ago, one of these big redwood trees fell down, and it fell all the way up the driveway, and the root ball was right here. It's all been filled in, but the trunk of the tree was about 4 feet in diameter, and this big massive root ball was hanging on the side here. So when this tree fell down, it was across the driveway here, and we started up at the top, we brushed it out, we started chunking firewood, and a guy named Joe was working with me, and he got down to about right here. I'm going to say about 15 feet from the edge right there, and he was standing on top of the log, and he was cutting off 6-foot chunks at a time, and he took one last big cut, and this piece of the wood stood up. All the roots were down on the ground. Joe was standing on it, and it launched him clear over into the creek over there. It kind of freaked me out when it happened, but it turned out to be pretty funny. Chainsaw went one way, Joe went the other way. He ended up way down over there, but you really have to pay attention. Things like that can just happen to you. Let's see if we can go find something somewhere else. There's an old stump. No, not those. Pretty. That's not what I'm looking for. The key to mushroom hunting is to know what you're looking for, but also to know what not to pick. And the search continues. I knocked on the door of one of my long-term clients' house, and unfortunately I woke him up. He said, "Sure, you can hunt for mushrooms down by my creek," but I don't think he was too happy. Sorry, Tom. Sometimes you look at some of these really old trees with big hollows in them, and you'll find some pretty amazing things. But what I'm looking for now is, what I'd really like to find is a lion's mane. I found one last year at this time, very close to this area. I'm going to keep searching. I was driving down Keto Road today and I saw a flash of yellow, so I pulled over, I put on my flashers, and what do I see but a chicken of the woods. Latiparous species. What kind of tree is it? It's a eucalyptus tree, and if you look way up the top, it's not looking very healthy, So that makes this a Laetiparus gilbertsonii. And I thought, I'm going to harvest that. And I came down and I looked closely, and somebody has beat me to it. Somebody has sliced off all the delicate best parts of this. It's only the outside edges of this particular type of fungus that really tastes good. The rest of it's kind of woody and tough, but if you get the very, very outside edges, those are the best. So somebody else saw it, and better luck to them. So I'm just going to leave it be. Got to keep your eyes open. So I kept driving down the road and I spotted something else. I see a walnut tree, and on the base of this walnut tree is it? It is! This is actually a favorite of mine. This is the oyster mushroom, and I'm actually going to harvest these and take these home. Somebody else missed this one, but I caught it. See, we just had rain the other day, and lots of things are happening. Lots of mushrooms are popping out. So this is a mushroom that you can recognize it by the gills on the underside. It's a really easy mushroom to cultivate. I've done it before. There you can see what the gills look like on the underside. It's a beautiful mushroom, very, very tasty. I'm going to get my knife out and I'm going to harvest this one. All right, what a score. There aren't any bugs in these yet. They're really, really fresh, really clean. The ones down on the ground here really close. You can see the bugs are starting to go after those, so I'm just going to let those go. And there are a few new ones popping up that are still really young. I'm going to leave those to grow a little bit more and come back and harvest those later. I got that one. Oh, there's one up high. That one's pretty good. I'm going to grab that one too. Look at that. Like I said, you got to keep your eyes open. Next, I'm going to start looking for chanterelles. Those are the really difficult ones to find. You find those buried underneath the leaves out in the oak woodlands. It's time of year to find your mushrooms. What are these?
These are chanterelles californicus.
Holy man.
Boom!
These are some big chanterelles.
Perfect big chanterelles. Look at these things. No bugs. Oh my goodness. Wow. Whoa. Oh my goodness. Look at
There's
that.
another one down there too.
I know, there's a bunch. Woohoo.
You don't want these people to come out.
Hey, those are our chanterelles.
There's more over there.
One here.
One over there.
Oh my goodness.
God, we should have brought a bag.
Oh, look at that fatty. Beautiful. Beautiful.
Another one over there.
More. Wow.
Wow.
Those are gorgeous.
That looks like about it.
No. There's a bunch right here. Wow.
Hope these people don't come out.
This thing, it's like a mutant multi.
Wow. That's an odd one.
That's a 2-pound chanterelle right there by itself.
Holy mackerel.
You see the like the wrinkled gills?
Yeah.
That's the defining factor.
Okay.
They don't have like lined up little gills. They're false gills, they're called. And then you can actually rub them off. I guarantee there's more here too.
Probably.
Oh yeah. Here we go. Oh my God.
And another big one over there. They're hidden underneath the leaves. There's one right to your left. You're about ready to step on it.
Oh, yeah. Oh my goodness. Wow, I'm glad I saw these.
Holy mackerel.
$100 worth of chanterelle.
Is that a chanterelle up there?
Whoa, these are huge. Oh, we gotta remember this time.
Think they'll come back every year?
Yeah. Yeah, they grow mycorrhizal with the live oaks. Merry Christmas! Wow.
Some over there.
I thought we would get like one.
Another one right there. Yeah. Might have to take
Oh
your
my God.
might have to take your sweatshirt off.
I'm going, yeah. Holy shit.
And there you look.
This is way more than I found the other times.
I'm glad I came down here with you.
Uh-huh. Look at that.
Is there another one up above it, or is that another one?
Yeah, that's another one. Goodness gracious.
Yeah, they're a lot bigger than they.
These are bigger than the ones I found too, for sure.
Holy mackerel.
Oh wow, what's that thing? Look at this.
Those bulges up there. What do you see?
It's a mushroom, but it's not a bacterius, but
Holy, what the hell is that? What is it?
I don't know. Maybe a rusula?
Never seen anything like that.
I don't know what that one is.
There's another big one bulging over there.
In here too, look. Let's see.
Gosh.
Oh,
Definitely not a chanterelle.
no, definitely not a chanterelle, but wish I knew what it was. That thing's huge. You can make steaks out of those.